Well, good morning. Hello, everybody, and welcome in. It is midweek Wednesday, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. I'm John, and he's Barry.
Yep, you know the drill. He's Longshore. I'm McKnight. This is show number 228. Still looking for a Coldplay title to this. This is War Pigs, which sounds like a guy who has an undergrad at Auburn and a grad degree at Arkansas, maybe, but it also sounds familiar. What do I know War Pigs from? That was in the War Pigs. I'm gonna have to go to Google, or even better than Google, I'm gonna have to go to the River Region Straw chat line over to this side. Let's get that thing populated with the regular people.
You know, Barry, it's Ozzy Osbourne. He passed away yesterday, I understand. Ozzy's no longer with us.
That's right. Was that Ozzy Osbourne solo or Black Sabbath?
You got me on that one because I was neither a Ozzy nor a Black Sabbath fan.
No, not to appreciate it, Rex. Rex is one of our more culturally literate guys out there. Ozzy Osbourne passed away, 78 years old. It's bad news and good news there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a couple of celebrity deaths. Theo Huxtable is no longer with us.
No. When did that happen?
That happened day before yesterday. Darn, I think that's right. He drowned on vacation down in Costa Rica.
No way.
Or someplace. Malcolm Jamal Warner. And then yesterday, Ozzy passes away. Ozzy, I want to say this respectfully. Somebody had posted on Facebook yesterday, Ozzy was a great American. Well, no,
Was Ozzy, where was he from? Where was Ozzy? Ozzy was I guess he was an American citizen. He wasn't born here, I don't believe.
No, he was not. He was not. Ozzy made it to 78. He made it to 78. Hand raise about people who think that that's pretty impressive for Ozzy. 78. I am absolutely, as they say sometimes at these things.
To me, he's kind of like Coach Bryant. Coach Bryant died at 69. He looked 99. Ozzy didn't look 78. He looked at least 88.
Yeah. One of these days, Keith Richards is going.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's what it says. I mean, that's what eventually.
I mean, Keith
guy's in his 80s. I'm impressed. 78 is beating the odds.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, Barry. I think Ozzy lived a hard 78 years.
Yeah, there was a lot packed in there.
Yeah,
it was. You hear about I don't know when the guys, the single gentlemen, are talking about young ladies. Oh man, she's great. She's about 24, and the other guy says, "Yeah, but it's a hard 24."
It's a hard 24.
Yeah, something like that. That's tough. But hey, 78 for Ozzy in terms of life experience, and enjoyment of life, zest for living.
Yeah.
Ozzy got a lot into those 78 years. So from Longshore and McKnight, respect Ozzy.
How long was Ozzy a solo artist? Like I said, I know he was in Black Sabbath, but I know he probably became more popular.
Crazy Train was probably his first one that I know of.
Yeah.
So it had to have been a long time. When he was with Black Sabbath, that's when he was biting heads off bats.
I guess,
like that. And
they play Crazy Train a lot at Jordan Hare. I noticed that gets the fire. That gets the fans pumped up over there.
It is one of the favorites among the young people in walk-up music for college baseball.
Oh, okay.
I'll admit, most of the time, the walk-up music for college baseball players escapes me a little bit. I don't know a lot about some of the stuff that they're playing.
Yeah. Well, Barry, I don't know some of the stuff.
A Crazy Train Every once in a while, I'll hear the public address announcer say, no batting, number whatever. And then you hear, the ha, ha, ha in the background, don't them. And I'm thinking,
There's
hey,
a lot
these kids are all right.
music. I wouldn't say current day, but music over the last 20 years, pop or country, that I'm not familiar with. Obviously my wife's a little younger than I am, and we're coming back the other day, and I'm listening to what I normally listen to, 80s on 8, yacht rock, classic vinyl,
Sure, right.
Stuff like that. And she's got it on like the highway, which is, newer country and something. I'm thinking, this didn't even sound like country. What is this crap? And it's just, some of the music today I'm not familiar with. I'm familiar with, like I said, some of the older stuff.
Yeah, the new country. I mean, I'm not saying that people who listen to new country are not intelligent. I don't mean to denigrate them. And for those of you who do listen to new country, denigrate means to put down.
Barry, when I hear Waylon Jennings,
leave me on that.
I kind of tear up a little bit. A little Waylon from back in the day.
Listen, from back in the day, when I had a 7-year run as a country music morning show DJ host. It was Barry McKnight and Andy Burcham on 97.7 Kicker FM, WKKR, Opelika, Auburn. And I mean, Garth, Clint Black, Trisha Yearwood, big fan, highly underrated Patty Loveless, Reba. I'm telling you, that was the stuff.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was pretty good stuff. But Ozzy and Theo, I did not know Theo had passed away. That kind of hurts, man. That is amazing. Man, well, rest in peace, both those gentlemen.
Well, they say upon further review, he was 76, but still, my point is still good.
Man, I'd stick with 78. I mean, he looks 78.
It is July 23rd. It is Wednesday.
Yep.
We are a month away from game week.
Man, game week. Oh, a month away. You're right.
A month away. For most everybody, fall camp, preseason camp opens in a week. If not next Wednesday, then next Thursday. I mean, they start reporting next week, which we've got to come up with a different phrase. And hey, there, freshmen report. Freshmen have been there.
Yeah, they've been there.
Freshmen have been working out during the summer and sweating out there on the field, doing, sprints and all that stuff. So it's coming. It's getting there. And we've done, let me see, all of the harbingers of stuff have pretty much, been checked off of our list. SEC Media Days, Sunbelt Media Days was Monday and Tuesday. That's over with down in New Orleans. Phil Steele magazine is out. The only things that really, and these are things that we check off. We say, oh, it's coming. It's even a little bit closer. The only things that we haven't really checked off yet to let us know that there really is number one, haven't started hearing from Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports.
That's coming.
Haven't started hearing from the Phantom about that. I mean, the Daily Dogs are awesome. It's been a tremendous addition to the program.
Well, more on that later. Ugh.
We haven't started that.
Yeah.
And also, we haven't yet started our tour around the SEC. And people, preseason predictions, we've made a few.
Yep.
But, I mean, we haven't really sharpened the pencil, cracked the knuckles and everything. We're going to start that tour around the SEC fairly soon, probably when the calendar changes. But all I'm saying is that we're getting there. We're getting close.
Barry, I like how our viewers and our listeners are familiar with what we do, and I've had several have already asked about our tour around the SEC. No, I'm saying other people besides Robbie and Dennis have asked about that, and we appreciate it. And we appreciate those two gentlemen as well for asking. But we will do that. We've got all of our contacts around the league. We saw most of them in Atlanta last week. So we're going to be getting ready. Preseason camp, we like for that to kind of get going so they have something to see or hear or talk about, and they got a little scoop for us. So we'll
Actually,
definitely
to see with your own two eyes, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll definitely do that. Lee Sterling is set to go. We'll have him on beginning August 22nd, which I believe is week 0. Believe it or not, hard to believe. But he'll join us then. He'll be on Fridays with us throughout the year. Of course, Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk will be on as well. So we'll have all that lined up for you. Luganville on Mondays. People have already asked about Luganville. Yeah, definitely he'll be with us on Monday. But here's another example, Barry, in our Longshore and McKnight email inbox. You mentioned Rex.
Yes.
He has one request. He says, guys, I love everything about the new format, but I do have one request. Today,
please don't let it be Barry needs a haircut, because Dennis, I'm getting one, but it ain't a crew cut. Okay.
Today, which was actually yesterday, when Barry started talking about all the places where he had broadcast games, I could hear John ringing that bell in my head. Ding, ding, ding. We need a bell. Rex, I'm going to the school supply shop today and get a bell like the teacher had on her desk. Going today to get that.
There's a place over there on Coliseum Boulevard, right where it goes up there to the intersects with the Atlanta Highway. That's a good spot. The bell, actually, the concept of the bell got started on the Dan Patrick Show many years ago.
No, whoa, Barry. They stole that from us. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It was popularized by the Dan Patrick Show, where a caller would say, they'd bring in a caller, which is another thing people say they like the, the new format because of the absence of. But a caller would say, hey, Dave from Santa Barbara, 511-215. Ding! Because they used to have that, I don't know. I remember, like I said, the other day, we were just skimming around TV and we were looking at the 1990 ESPN telecast of Alabama versus Tennessee. You go back a little further, you can watch all those games, like the Fiesta Bowl from 1977. And I'm not kidding. You'd have, like, whoever the play-by-play guy was, Jim Simpson or somebody.
Yeah. Oh, I remember him.
And they'd run the pregame consisted of Jim Simpson on TV and on the public address at Sun Devil Stadium.
Oh, sweet.
And now the starting lineups for the Arizona State Sun Devils, head coach Frank Cush. And they'd have the dude run out from underneath the goalpost and stop right in front of the camera at the 20-yard line with his helmet under his arm. And he'd say, Dennis Edwards, Senior, Fontana, California. And then he'd run off. And, and now Joe Smith. Joe Smith would come out.
I remember
Smith,
that.
76, Tempe, Arizona. And I'm thinking, those poor guys are having to stand back there thinking, I've got you.
I got one for you, Barry. Dennis Edwards was the host of the Nighttime Price is Right. How about that? Ding, ding, ding. I need a bell. I need a bell.
All right.
Yeah, Dennis. So Jim Simpson, did he do like the Orange Bowl, or was that Dick Enberg?
Dick Enberg was Mr. Orange Bowl. Dick Enberg was the Orange Bowl.
I had a brush with greatness with Dick Enberg. I was on a flight with him years ago. But Jim Simpson was great too. Both those guys, man, back in the day, there were some really good ones.
Here's another good get from back in the day. Bill from Baltimore says, or like the Bob Hope All-American ones. Those are on YouTube and are funny to see.
Yeah.
You'd have up there the 1971, and Bob Hope would be standing up there with that skinny Gene Rayburn microphone. And, the guy would come up, full uniform, right?
Yep.
Full uniform, shoulder pads, everything, butt pads. Pat Sullivan, Auburn. And Bob would try and have a funny line about Pat Sullivan. Yeah, he's from Alabama. Alabama's so funny, all this kind of stuff. And, he'd go through the whole thing. And I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated that.
I didn't like the Street and Smith magazine with the players with no face mask, but had a helmet on.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
Sometimes they would alternate the player with no face mask, the full facial shot.
Yep.
They'd alternate that with guy in full flight flying forward like he's about to do a belly flop on the field, and they'd catch him like in mid-flight, and
and the guy's facial expression.
Well,
I don't know why people do that, Barry. They should have just followed my lead. And for basketball players that never get in the game, for your solo shot, just pull a chair out there and sit in it. That was my solo shot.
That's
Instead
exactly
of somebody
right.
shooting or guarding, I just pulled a chair out across my legs.
the Leon High School High Life, which was the name of the newspaper. It was named for a beer, believe it or not. The Leon High School High Life. The student photographer would come out to the basketball team, and he said he wanted some action shots, and that's what I did. Like what are you doing during the game? And so I pulled out a
right
chair,
here.
sat down over there, cracked my knuckles.
Exactly. The coach wasn't real happy about that. He kind of was ticked off. I think inside he was smiling and thought it was funny, but he didn't really like that I was being such a smart ass and pulled the chair out there and crossed my legs and said, okay, take the shots. This is what I do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He wasn't real thrilled, but I thought it was kind of cute. I didn't get a lot of playing time after that, but hey, it was worth it. Hey, Barry, got a lot going on today.
Yep.
Yeah, got a lot going on today. I have a special guest coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're going to get into something that, quite frankly, I knew nothing about. Didn't even know it was out there. We're going to inform you about it. With school about to start, maybe you've got a son heading off to college. We're going to talk to a fraternity consultant. Yes, they are out there. His name is Kyle Hall. He'll join us at the bottom of the hour. I think you'll find that interesting.
John has done some pro bono work back in the day as a fraternity consultant.
I thought I knew everything about the Greek system. CJ Duncan at the top of the hour. Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician, at the bottom of the next hour. Barry, we're going to share some big news that we found out about with our viewers and listeners when we come back. Also, some other big topics we want to get to today as well in the things you need to know category on the Wednesday edition of Longshore McKnight in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com.
He's John Longshore. Again, I'm Barry McKnight. Get to know us because we're around.
Yeah.
And we're setting trends and breaking tradition here. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Now, through July 31st, take advantage of the quadruple zero event at Stivers Ford in Montgomery. 0% APR for up to 48 months. 0 down payment. 0 payments for 90 days and 0 cost for maintenance for 2 years or 24,000 miles. The quadruple zero event offer is available on select 24 and 25 model F-150s, Explorers, Expeditions, Broncos, Mustangs, and Escapes. Stop by Stivers Ford at 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery for more information. Stivers Ford, where price sells cars and trucks.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Did you know that Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air service fee is good for 30 days for all 4 trades? That's right. If we service your home's electric, plumbing, HVAC, or garage doors, we will come back within 30 days for any of the 4 trades at no additional cost to you. A licensed and trained Dixie technician will service your home with our signature warehouse on wheels, and all work will be backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. What are you waiting for?
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. 18 minutes past the hour on this Wednesday. Longshore and McKnight, glad you're with us here today. A lot going on. John wants to know what the big news is. Well, John, let me see what Robbie has to say. Oh, yeah, Robbie, we're going to get to that too. I saw that yesterday as well.
Yep.
It was Dennis James. Yes, William. It wasn't Dennis Edwards. It was Dennis James.
Dennis James.
Dennis James. Thank you there, William. Yeah, Dennis James.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Barry informed me this morning, and I got our research department, which basically consists of my daughter in D.C. She was really quick too, Barry. I sent it to her. I said, do you know anything about this? Can you give me some insight? And she sent me a screenshot of what you were telling me about before we went on the air today. I think I sent it to you as well on your phone.
All right.
And Barry informed me this morning that we had over 33,000 views on Facebook yesterday. I went, 33,000? I've never known Barry to steer me astray, to tell a little fib. I went, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
When I got it sent to me, though, Barry, it was 33.4. So it's gone up since you told me.
Hey, that's an extra 200 just since last night, and 200 is sizable number.
Yeah.
It was really, good show. You never know what hits, or you never really, I mean, numbers are important. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But John and I aren't looking at the ticker over to the left and everything, and going up. John says something, funny about Auburn. Barry says something about, his high school social life. We're not doing that. We're not playing, to a viewer or a listener here or there. And I wouldn't have known about it except my wife, Dee, who's wonderful. She says, "Hey, you got 33,000 views." This was last night. I said, "You're kidding me." And she said, "Look it up." So I did, and it was 33,200 at that point. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Can she make sure she looks that up every night?
Yeah, I'm going to start looking it up every night.
Yeah. But yes, couldn't do it without you. We greatly appreciate our viewers, our listeners. Really means a lot. And we're here because of you. And certainly check us out, on at yellowhammernews.com, on YouTube, on Facebook. We're on X, on Instagram, Spotify, Apple, iTunes. There's so many ways to consume our content, and we really appreciate it. So that really means a lot. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and that really helps out a ton.
Just to give you some perspective, 33,400, I believe right before World War II, 33,000 was the capacity of Denny Stadium.
Might be right.
Just to let you know, 33,000 is a lot. That's like Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy being slam full for Longshore and McKnight on the big screen.
How about that? That'd be kind of cool. Barry, it's hard to believe 40 years ago, Denny Stadium, or Bryant Denny, only held 59,000. When I was in school in the 80s, 59,000. Auburn was actually slightly larger.
I remember for years.
I'm talking about before they built the first deck at Auburn. It was still bigger, slightly
the
bigger.
campus was bigger. The enrollment was bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Heck, 33,400 watched our show yesterday. That's just about at the time, about the size of the University of Florida's enrollment whenever I was a student there way back when. So anyway, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
We do appreciate that, and we do try really, really hard. So that's you can always count on that. We have got some news, some sports news today.
Oh yeah.
Not really.
We got a lot on the list. Yeah, we do. I got a lot of things.
Since this is, part of our schedule, and we had to tweak it a little bit because we got a special guest coming up in just a second or two. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Okay, let me hear it.
Braves lost. Braves lost yesterday at home.
Ooh.
A home loss to the San Francisco Giants. Braves have dropped back down to 12 games below 500. My point here, the thing to remember is that a loss is a loss.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether you lose by 1 or you lose by 9. Covering's important. John says, and you're a 10-point dog. That's important. The fact that the Braves lost yesterday 9-0, 9-0 gives you kind of a sense of why I've been telling you. And again, huge baseball fan, been following the Braves all my life.
Yeah.
If you're going to jump off, go ahead and jump off now.
I just don't know. The
Braves have got, they probably got the National League Rookie of the Year. The catcher is Drake Baldwin, but that's Acuna's playing well, but he's been hurt, Jerkson by, and
So, Barry, you see what Bill from Baltimore's saying, and he's right. It's a long season. Tell him, Bill.
Long season.
I know we're past the All-Star break, but it's okay. It is okay. Now, Barry, if you lose a game 9-0, is it because of poor pitching or poor hitting?
Well, they had 8 hits. They did have 8 hits, and yeah,
how many?
was
What's that 8
4-0
hits
after.
get them?
They didn't get them anything.
Yeah. I
Nothing.
always wonder why they put that on the scoreboard. Does it really matter? Just give me the score. I don't need to know how many hits. I don't need to know how many errors. That's just clutter. Don't need to see it.
Maybe some people bet on the hits. I don't know.
I bet they do.
But
Yeah.
a little bit later on, the Phantoms Daily Dog.
Oh, yeah.
There is movement going on again. The Sun Belt has given their preseason predictions. And Robbie from Greenville has given his predictions out there. Robbie says, I had Texas over Alabama in the SEC championship game. I have LSU 3rd, Georgia 4th. I don't agree with South Carolina 5th. I have Oklahoma 5th because of John Mateer. John Mater. Sounds like somebody out of the Cars movie. Healthy wideouts and a new offensive coordinator with a tough defense. South Carolina counting too much on Lenoris Sellers. So Jeff's, but Robbie's got his out.
Yeah.
And he asked me about what I think about Troy, preseason ranked 6th in the Sun Belt. I don't think about it much at all. That's kind of the point what John and I are talking. Sure, it's a talking point.
Yeah.
But again, John and I were talking a little while ago about Ozzy Osbourne's solo career. It's anything can be a talking point.
That's right.
With Longshore and McKnight. What does it mean? As Edwin Starr once famously sang, absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Nothing. So Barry, Robbie, appreciate that. We're going to talk a lot about that over the next month as we get ready for kickoff. I'm a little high on South Carolina. There's no doubt. I'm becoming a believer in OU. As we talked about, I think you got the top 4, Texas, LSU, Bama, and Georgia. You got the bottom 4, Arkansas, Vandy, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. And those 8 in the middle, I think you can toss and turn them and flip them around. I think you could put really a lot of those teams in a lot of the same places, but you got to find a place for them. I mean, I think Missouri could. Florida's getting a lot of love.
Florida,
OU, South Carolina. Auburn. People think. I talked to some people last night. I tend to agree with them. I think Auburn's got a really good chance of going 9-3. I got them at 8-4, but I could see 9-3.
Yeah, the Ole Misses, the Tennessees, Texas A&Ms. You can throw them in there. To that point, my final point before we go to the break, special guest coming. Yesterday was the ACC, was one of the days of the ACC media days. For those people in this area who aren't familiar, the ACC is the Atlantic Coast Conference. They sponsor intercollegiate sports. SMU was in the ACC. SMU head coach Rhett Lashley, former Auburn offensive coordinator.
Yep.
I kind of like the cut of his jib. He tells it like he sees it. He spent a little time answering a question. The ACC has to answer a lot of questions about the SEC all the time. Evidently, they were talking a lot about the SEC at the ACC media days.
Sure, they were.
Jealousy involved. Yeah. Who knows? And of course, he
like a football program that talks about another football program all the time. Anyway, continue your point.
Where did that come? Here we go. Viewership. He coached in the SEC.
Yeah.
And he was talking about what's the big deal with the SEC? And he pointed out that over the last 30 years, the last 40 years, maybe he said 50.
Okay.
The SEC has had 6 national championships.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what,
they have had 6 different schools win national championships. He says the SEC ballyhoos all these championships and everything. It's been basically Alabama, Georgia, Florida, LSU, Auburn, and who else has won a national Tennessee.
Yeah, let me ask you this question.
That's all. It doesn't speak to the SEC's depth. It just speaks to the upper crust of the conference, which is really, really good. He said, you take the rest of the league? Well, not so much.
I thought that was probably the most idiotic statement I heard yesterday. How many has the ACC won? Florida State, Miami, Clemson. Who else? Since like the beginning of time, who else? And you can throw the Big Ten in there as well. I mean, Minnesota won one back in the 60s, But
they won one in 1940. Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State, I guess Penn State, since you brought them into the league. I mean, why are these people picking on the SEC? I tell you why.
Why?
Because they know they're the most dominant conference. They know they're running the show. And I'll take the bottom half of the SEC and put them up against the bottom half of the ACC all day long. You can throw the Big Ten in there as well. And I don't give a crap about 8 or 9 games. I'm tired of hearing about it. You know, just Greg Sankey just say, look, y'all talk about us all you want. Here's the bottom line. The television networks want quality matchups. They want SEC games. That's who they want to broadcast.
Well,
and if they can get 9 and pay more money for it, okay, the league's making more money. Everybody's profiting. Everybody's happy. That's who they want. And I think the ACC and the Big Ten's got their lip poked out because they know the networks want the SEC, and the SEC's kind of telling them, you know, we'll kind of do what we want to, and we'll work with our TV partners, and you guys just, you know, fight it out amongst yourselves.
Well, as we go to break, we need to elevate the tone of this program. Somebody just texted me and said, is that a beer tap behind John's right shoulder? No, that's a Tito's head cover.
That's a head cover.
Yeah, it looks like a beer tap.
It does.
We got to elevate the tone of this.
I do have to ask you, I do want to bring this up before we go to break, Barry. I don't know if you've caught this or not in our River Region Straw chat line. Jeff from Billingsley. He has showed up today.
I don't know. Everything's spelled correctly. I mean, the grammar is absolute.
Jeff says with a few more million, we'll have as many viewers as Joe Rogan. That's what we're looking for, Jeff.
Hey, Joe Rogan started small himself. You know, every journey, every 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And we're into our 228th step right now. When we come back, Kyle Hall, we'll tell you about him and about what he does. For a lot of you guys, you're going to find out he's got your dream job. We'll talk to him in just a moment. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust. All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is about 27 minutes or so to the top of the hour. A lot going on this Wednesday with Longshore McKnight. And Barry, we're excited to bring on our next guest. First time we've had him on. His name is Kyle Hall. He is a fraternity consultant. You know, school's about to start up here in about a month or so. Some places even quicker than that. And, of course, Greek life, fraternity life is big on college campuses around the country, around the Southeast. And Kyle has found a niche in being a fraternity consultant. Thanks for joining us here today. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, I'm doing great, guys.
Yeah, Kyle, owner and CEO, Alabama Fraternity Consultant, Alabama Fraternity Consulting, specific to the University of Alabama, correct, Kyle?
It started off that way, but now I've expanded to 6 other universities, kicking and screaming, but they pulled me into it.
Let's talk a little bit about first of all, the business. John mentioned it's a niche business that you have found that there is quite the need for. What specifically do you do?
Well, basically what I'm doing is for mostly the out-of-state student who has very few days, very few nights to rush whatsoever, out of the 36 fraternities. They find me, and I basically do a one-on-one profile with those young men, find out who they are, what they're like, what they did in high school, what they want to do in college. And then based on everything they tell me, then I take out of those 36 fraternities, I'll pick 5 of them because I have a pretty strong knowledge of all of them. Right. And I say, here are the 5 that you need to focus on when you go in for your 2-day, say, orientation. Here's what you do. Here's how you do it. Here's the methodology towards it. And that's where we go from there.
You mentioned that you work, not for, but certainly the Greek system at the University of Alabama. Barry and Mitch asked other schools. You had, when we talked yesterday, I can't recall them all. I remember North Carolina at Chapel Hill was one. What are some of the other schools you work with?
So Ole Miss and Auburn. I know Texas, SMU would be the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in Alabama, you mentioned, and I guess this might be the case with other schools as well, Kyle. There are a lot of out-of-state students that come to school at Alabama, and I'm sure that's the case with the other schools you work with. Is that primarily the types of young men that you're working with are from out-of-state, or do you work with in-state students as well?
Well, it started with out-of-state, but once the concept became known, then, of course, I picked up a lot of in-state kids, too, who realized that maybe their parents weren't alumni like my wife and I are, and they hadn't been down there every football season since, the beginning of time. And so they need a little help too. So they'll come in on the sly. They're not quite as overt about it, but I'll take them and I'll help them get into that system as well.
What are some of the common misconceptions? I mean, back when I was in college, you used to think, you throw a sweater around your shoulders and you spare topsiders and you're good to go. What things have changed so much, in Alabama specifically is the largest fraternity system, the largest Greek system in the country. Am I right? So you got a lot of people that are rushing, and evidently a lot of them are making a lot of mistakes that you can help them avoid.
You're 100%. The sweater across the shoulders, I remember it well. No, that'd be the last thing you do. Well, actually wearing something Alabama, I preach on this quite often. If you're from, let's just say you're from Michigan, you don't want to come down to a rush event at the University of Alabama wearing a Bama sweatshirt. We know you're a fan. That's why you're coming. So you don't need to announce that. But it's very casual. The entire rush setup at the University of Alabama is very casual. You want to be clean. You want to look good, but you want to be casual. You don't want to look like you just went to Belk and bought something new for the event.
You also don't want to come in a tank top T-shirt and some really short shorts and something like that. You kind of want to look like a college kid if you can. Kyle, how many kids have you worked with over the years?
I have just hit my 198th client.
Wow, awesome! So, and how do they find you?
The Instagram page, which is a little off the charts, and it was behind that. Is probably generated the most noise around this program, but they also find me through parent referrals, through the internet. Now, if you go on Alabama Fraternity Consulting, anything like that, I pop up. So that's the way they're finding me. But referrals are obviously the best, because then the parents say, no, this guy's actually legitimate. He cares. He's going to take care of our family, my son. He's going to make sure he finds his correct home. So that helps the most.
This is a busy time of year for you, I can imagine.
It finished up the middle of July with the last Bama Bounds. That's our orientations. And so right now I have a couple of weeks before when they all come back. The move-in date's the 13th of August. So between the 13th of August and the 22nd, when those rush chairmen have to turn in those names to the university, it is going to be a madhouse.
You know, Kyle and Barry's heard me say this before. I was not aware that move-in day was August the 13th, but my son's move-in day is August the 1st. So, kind of like me. I was ready to get on campus for a couple of weeks before school even started. You know, got to get, settled in, so to speak, when I was there. So, yeah, I asked him the other day, I said, why are you going so early? He goes, what do you mean going early? I got to get up there and get accustomed with everything. Now, I will say this, Kyle and Barry, I don't know if you've seen it, but some of your clips on Instagram, Kyle, they're pretty creative.
Yeah, they are. And you have to do something different because believe me, if I got on there as a 60-year-old man trying to sell this story to a bunch of 18-year-old incoming freshmen, I'm afraid nobody would have paid attention to that. So I basically had to take on the persona of taking a 60-year-old man and dropping him down in the middle of 2025. And that's kind of what I've done.
Oh, my gosh. 36,000 likes, 34,000 likes for your last couple out there. It has gone viral, and you can check it out. Instagram, just search Alabama Fraternity Consulting. We're visiting here with Kyle Hall. What about the experience as a whole for those people who are wondering whether their child would even get any benefits out of Greek life? What recommends those people who maybe either have never, they have never been a Greek or they've never been to college or something like that? What are the benefits, really, of the whole thing?
Particularly at Alabama, I'll speak to that the most. You can go to the University of Alabama. It's a great experience for any person. But when you're in the Greek system, all of a sudden you're immersed into this entire inner circle of this incredible SEC experience. The number of people, the number of contexts, if you're a guy, the number of girls you're going to be introduced to in such a short period of time cannot be matched in any other venue. Even those football players don't have the chance to meet as many girls as early on as the Rashi or the Pledge would. So I think the biggest thing is, a lot of people talk about connections, and that is true. You're being connected to people who are connected to people all across the country. So when I went to school, it was a nice place to connect if you wanted to do something inside the state of Alabama or maybe the SEC or, the southeastern states. But now it is all over this United States. So I would say those are the greatest benefits. Plus, lastly, and most importantly, this has never changed. These are going to be the guys who are going to be your best friends for the rest of your life. They're going to be in your wedding. You're going to be in their wedding. I don't care if they're in Texas. You're going to fly out there. This is the way you create this bond, and it stays with you for the rest of your life. And those are the memories that you never forget.
Kyle, I certainly agree wholeheartedly. I mean, I was in the Greek system. Some of my best friends were people I met in my fraternity. They were in my wedding, and I got a lot of contacts around the country with people I met through there. It definitely doesn't hurt. There's certainly a lot of meeting the females as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly a great part, and I know a lot of people want to be a part of that. Somebody asked me to ask you this. I don't know if you can pinpoint it because I think you're probably working with so many different fraternities and whatnot at Alabama. But is there a list or a group? Do you have a list of, say, like the best houses on campus?
I get asked that question all the time, and here's the answer to that. The best house on that campus is the best house for the client that I'm working with at that time. Because I really and truly, if Kyle Hall were trying to evaluate himself, what's the best house? There's so much criteria for that. Best what? That would be the question. Best in what category? Because they've all got strong strengths, but depending upon what your outcome is, would depend on which one would really be considered the best. So it's hard to answer that question.
Yeah.
Okay, you can get in touch with Kyle, again, owner and CEO of Alabama Fraternity Consulting. If somebody were to contact you, what's the first thing? I mean, is there a sheet that they fill out? Is it what's the experience like specifically working with you initially? The first contact.
Well, the first thing we're going to do is work out the payment arrangement. Let's just get that out of the way so I don't have to fool with that anymore. And then the next thing I'm going to do is set up the time, the one-on-one 1 hour call with the incoming rushee. This is when I just want he and I to go at it on the phone always. And I just need that 1 hour to do that profile call with him so I can assess exactly who he is, what he's looking for. And then after that, I will drop down to him through a text message the 5 fraternities that best suit him. Typically, most of the time they have a house. I'll send a picture of the house, a 4, 5, or 6 paragraph description of that house as it relates to that profile call, and we'll go from there.
Sounds like a great setup there, Kyle. I just kind of think back 40 years ago, if Kyle's services would have been around, would I have ended up anywhere else, anywhere differently?
I don't know, but you probably would have saved some time, because when I was going through Rush, you'd come out of some house and you think,
woo,
well, that was a waste of time, just because, I mean, it didn't suit you. And you can save a lot of that and a lot of those experiences. Kyle Hall, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Mm-hmm.
The best way to get in touch with me really is through the Instagram page, or my email is alabamafraternityconsulting@gmail.com.
Okay.
Those would be the best ways.
Okay, there we go. This is an interesting thing. Fraternity consulting.
Yeah.
The consultant is Kyle Hall. Kyle, this has been fascinating. Thanks so much for the time.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, it was time somebody did something for the boys, right? We've had the girls squared away for years and years.
Yeah.
I think I'm a dad of 3 boys, and I looked at it and I said, you know, we need the boys need some help. So
I'm with you.
I jumped in.
There's a lot of girls who feel the same way about that. Yeah, the boys need some help. Appreciate you, Kyle. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Kyle. That is outstanding. Interesting. Barry, I got to tell you, when I was introduced to Kyle, I went, well, you do what now? Yeah, I've never heard of this before, but I can see it in this day and age, needing a little help, need a little consulting. And I know what we're going to get here on the chat line. Hey, you meet lifelong contacts, your best friends, you know, a lot of girls, a lot of socializing, this, that, and the other. I know what you're talking about. Somebody mentioned something about this machine. I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard of it. What is that?
It's been recorded. John
I have no idea what you're talking about. Never heard of it before. I don't know why people like to associate that with the Greek system. It's unbelievable.
I don't know. You know, JL, didn't you write the fraternity consultant Cliff's Notes? I
would probably be a better person after you've pledged. Then I should be your consultant.
Yeah,
kind of
you know, once you're in, hey man, no, don't take that class.
No.
Well,
no. Hey man, don't be coming to the house dressed like that. I'm just telling you. Don't show up late. Always have a pack of cigarettes. See, when we always had to have a pack of cigarettes and a couple of quarters in our pocket. So if if an active needed to make a phone call, you always had that quarter for him. A couple of things you got to have on you. Some things you don't need to have on you.
You go check down in the basement. They got a drill there. That's for the holes in the paddle. Okay. I mean, a little bit more, you know, I mean, there's plenty of stuff John could have helped you out.
Oh man,
always
you're not kidding.
On the pickle with the most mustard sliding down the plate glass.
Yeah. The memories. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
This is good stuff. And I know what's going. And Barry, get ready, because you're gonna we'll talk about it. We talk about it every year. I think you call it the running of the
running of the Gumps.
Yeah, when they had what is it called? Not Bid Day. Squeal Day. Squeal Day. In Tuscaloosa. They run down the streets and all that kind of stuff. It'll be all over the papers and all over the internet.
You know, Kyle also works with Auburn. I have, I'll never forget, I've had to work with Auburn fraternities before. You know, we actually, the radio station I was at used to do fraternity parties. I used to have to, you know, play music. I was the Rick Hendrick of Auburn for a while there and been to all of them. But the largest in the country, the University of Alabama, as of 2 years ago, 36 different social fraternities.
He told me that yesterday, Barry. I was blown away by that. I was blown away that they were. And I asked him, I said, Kyle, 40 years ago, were there 16? Were there 26? I just didn't feel like there were that many.
Well,
and certainly with the sororities as well. But some of those houses they built up there, whoa.
gosh almighty. Yeah. Good question here from Johnny. Says, there's a sorority consultant as well. Well, you're looking at one. But
I think the mothers handle a lot of that, I think.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm not a girl dad. John is. But holy smoke, sororities, they got some sort of an HBO sort of Jersey Housewives kind of thing about Alabama sorority life. Oh,
and I'll just let some moms and dads know, if you've got a daughter that's going through Rush, whether it's Auburn, Alabama, whatever school it is, it's going to be hot, because the 2 squill days I went to for my 2 daughters, it was excruciatingly hot. So be prepared for that. It's not going to be any cooler, but it's a fun time for them. They certainly, the girls just, I think they squeal. The guys, it's like a high five and a handshake, and bro hug, all that kind of good stuff. But it is good stuff. All right, good stuff. We appreciate that. Probably due for a break. We got a lot of great chats on our River Region Straw chat line we're going to get to. Also, I got another thing that's just, kind of eating at me. This 8-9 game stuff, the Big Ten, the ACC, they're talking about. What does that tell you? If other conferences are talking about the SEC, they got a problem. They're a little jealous.
There is that, no question. And also a tease for probably later on in the Garden Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, maybe not. The Birmingham Stallions, we hardly knew you. The entire UFL, what is it, Eastern Division, gone. We'll talk about that maybe in a little bit. Time for a break. Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 7 minutes at the top of the hour. All right, Barry, you got me intrigued here. I've been scanning the internet. I mean, say it isn't so. No more Birmingham Stallions? What the heck's going on?
Well, the deal is that this came out yesterday, and like Lloyd Christmas, I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
The Stallions were in the old USFL. The USFL morphed into the UFL, and they've always been competitive. The problem is, and John brought this up, they didn't draw flies over there at Progressive Stadium.
No.
The UFL has reports It has not been made official. There are reports from people who ought to know that say that the Birmingham Stallions are going to be relocated along with basically whatever every other team in the in their division. Michigan, Houston, Memphis, Birmingham, all gone. All going to be moving.
Now
the teams that they're talking about moving to the markets, Boise, Kentucky, somewhere like Louisville /
I don't think Paducah can
Lexington.
support a USFL team, Barry. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
So
a couple of things that hit me here. You say this broke yesterday?
Yeah, I saw it yesterday.
Okay.
That
right
night.
there, right there tells you how bad things were in the UFL, because I'm just finding about it now. I mean, you would think this would be blockbuster news. It'd be all over the place. Oh no, the USFLs, they're done. Our guys up in Birmingham, I'm sure that I'd listened to them a little yesterday. I didn't hear them talking about it. Maybe they didn't know yet.
Yeah.
But that right there just shows you nobody watched it. Nobody cared about it. Nobody was interested in it. You talked about attendance figures at Progressive Field. I hate that for them. But Barry, as I'm watching some of these games from time to time, and I didn't sit there and watch a lot of them. It was kind of like, oh, UFL's on there, the Stallions. I'll watch for 5 minutes. There was nobody at these games, and I couldn't imagine anybody was watching them. The numbers for the UFL had to be, we just talked about our numbers earlier today. I mean, you think the UFL had that kind of number?
Well, the 4 new markets in the UFL, Boise, Columbus, Ohio, Louisville, Lexington, Kentucky, and likely Orlando, Florida. Out would be the Stallions, the Houston Roughnecks, the Memphis Showboats, and the Michigan Panthers.
I do not know the exact number.
I hate it about the TV stuff.
Yeah,
because if you take away the fact that this was not the highest level of football, and you take away the fact that the backdrop was terrible because it was all those empty seats, the actual telecast was really good.
Oh, I mean,
some of the
Joel
things
Klatt, you kidding me?
Luke's on the sidelines, Cole Kulik, guys like that. Love those guys. You used to be able, when the quarterback threw a pick six, they'd go to a break after the extra point, and they'd come back. And Luke's would be standing on the sidelines next to the quarterback. Hey, man, what
happened?
You thinking there?
What you see there?
Yeah,
I hate it for those guys, no doubt. I don't have the exact number, Barry. I know you've heard that statement before. That means, got to look it up. Not really. I'm just kind of curious. I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to say 8. I think Birmingham has had at least 8 different professional football teams. If I kind of added them all up and did a little research, from the Barracudas to the Birmingham Fire,
Vulcans, the
Thunderbolts,
the Birmingham. What was they were the Birmingham Fire back in the old
WFL.
WFL.
They had a different name.
WLAF, Barracudas.
Yeah. Now, Barry, if I'm not mistaken, they were originally the Vulcans, and then they changed their name to the Americans for some reason. Why would you not stay the Vulcans? I don't get that.
I don't know what the deal is out
but
there. But
Birmingham has had
you cannot have a professional football league without having a Birmingham franchise. I mean,
you're talking about a city that's been going, what do we got to do? I mean, Birmingham, just, suck it up. You're not an NFL team. You're never going to be. You're a G League NBA city. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay, but you're not an NFL team. This is a college state. People love the college game. And, if the NFL came to Birmingham, I get the sense it would be kind of like, a Carolina Panther game lately. There's just not a lot of interest. You got to be good. You got to be good for
Theotis
teams to really, have fans. And then, Barry, you got to have Fortune 500 companies. You got to have some big companies with some people making some big money, and these companies can be big time sponsors for these NFL teams in these markets.
It's not even the biggest town in Alabama anymore. I mean, Huntsville may have a better claim for all of that.
Just saying. Yeah.
Kind of tough this morning. It's getting to be right at 8 o'clock. And at 8 o'clock, there was actually a free youth football clinic that's supposed to be beginning any minute. The Birmingham Stallions. It's going to be at Legion Field, not going to be at Protective. But yeah, head coach Skip Holtz, quarterback Jamar Smith, and some of the operation staff supposed to be there, and they are heading out of town, evidently.
Yeah, been postponed. Newmarket. All right. I see our man CJ Duncan is in the green room. Do we have to go to a break, or are we going straight to CJ? What's
Let's
the story
go to
here?
CJ. Yeah,
okay, let's do it. Don't make this guy wait. You kidding me?
CJ Duncan. Hey, man, good to see you, CJ. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing really well. How about you? What does late July look like in the life of CJ Duncan these days?
You know what? Never stopping, working and weddings and all the above. We have not stopped just yet, but it's all good things, all fun things. So no complaints over here.
Obviously last week we were in Atlanta for SEC football media days and weren't able to have you on. We were just scrambling around, had all types of things going on, and we certainly appreciate you joining us back in your regular slot. But was there anything you took out of media days that you heard or saw in Atlanta last week that kind of stuck with you?
You know what? Several things. You know, I understand the excitement around Texas, but there's still a lot to be proven there, you know, and the fact that most people kind of have them run away SEC champions, I feel like is a bit early. I think they'll be very competitive. They're a talented team. They recruit well, of course, and I think highly of Arch. But it's a lot different when you're being hunted and you are the guy. And this is the first year that Arch is the guy, and folks have tape on him, and so. You know, it was shocking to see that pretty much be unanimous.
I'm with you on that, just simply because of like what you're talking about. In a national sense, we're starting to see some of the magazines coming out, some of the some of the websites are starting to come up with things. A lot of people, and John's on this boat a little bit himself, a lot of people kind of like the way things are shaping up at Penn State. You played for James Franklin. Does he have the wherewithal to win the whole thing with this program, CJ?
You know, as a coach, I think he is a guy that can and will be a championship coach one day. But, you know, it's the coach and quarterback combination that kind of wins you championships, right? And I know Drew Aller is a guy that a lot of guys are predicting to be in the first round. But, you know, you never know till you get out on the field, you roll the ball out, and that quarterback's got to make great decisions. I still believe that the champion of college football will come from the SEC again this year. You know, there's still, you know, the fact that people are writing Georgia off so quickly is just beyond me. That their program was built to last, right? And Gunner had a rough end of the year, but they've gotten so much more talented on the offensive side of the ball, including Zachariah Branch from USC. He's also a special teams guy. Players like that take the load off of Gunner, and that's what Georgia has done in the past. You know, you think of Matthew Stafford, but outside of Matthew Stafford, what quarterback have they given the ball and just said, hey, go win us a game? That's just not their MO. So I think they're building a great team around him. LSU, Nussmeier is supposed to be probably the top pick. And they've got receivers galore. Apparently there's not one receiver in their room that runs under a 4.4. That listen, or excuse me, that they all run under 4.4s. Nobody's above a 4.4. Excuse me. So I don't care what league you're in. If that's your receiver room, you're going to be okay. And with a good quarterback. So I do like Penn State. I think Penn State will be right there. But I think it's way too close to call this early in the season to really know exactly what's going to happen.
CJ, obviously you're a former SEC football player. What's your take about other coaches and other conferences getting at their media day, specifically the ACC and the Big Ten, and they're just taking shots at the SEC?
It makes sense. You know, when you want to be over here on this side, you know, sometimes you just want to get a little attention, poke the bear a bit. But specifically Indiana, they've got a lot to work on. They didn't have a good showing when it was time to make it to the playoff, and when they played a legitimate team like Ohio State, that didn't turn out as well either. So I think there's a lot of teams like that need to look in the mirror. I think sometimes you you bite off too much, more than you can chew, and you're not exactly ready for what you ask for. And that's just because you haven't experienced it, so we can't blame you. But when we do this every weekend, it's a totally different ball game. So I don't know that anybody even pays it any attention. You haven't done what we've done, so good luck to you.
That's one of the things I've mentioned this before. I love CJ's visits because a lot of his comments generate other questions. You were talking about the SEC kind of breaking down Georgia, LSU, and all that. I know with in your daily life, in your business life, and all that, and being around your friends and everything, they know of your football background, how you competed at a high level, and they probably do ask you, CJ. I mean, this year, what are you looking at? Who are you looking for? When CJ Duncan is looking at a team and trying to figure out whether, you really feel strongly about them or not, what are the first things you look at? What are the most important things?
Well, I think initially for a good ball club, sometimes I'm watching a team just for entertainment purposes, right?
Sure.
And listen, I grew up an Auburn guy, and so I'm going to watch Auburn just to see what is going on. There's going to be a lot of drama around that situation, but just in general, I look at the interior offensive line and defensive line. To me, in the SEC, that is where your bread and butter is. If you've got talented guys right there, the rest of the machine probably runs pretty well as well. So I'm looking at a team like Florida this year. I'll keep a really close eye on them. I really like DJ Lagway. I think he's a potential first round pick. South Carolina's another program that, they may not be the best team in our league, but they're going to give people a lot of trouble. And especially later on in the year when Clemson's trying to compete for a national championship, they still got to play at South Carolina. And Lenore Sellers, I believe his name is, he's going to be another guy that's kind of right there in the mix as far as top quarterback in the country. And then I've just mentioned earlier, LSU, they normally have the size and the depth, but when you're able to roll out those kind of athletes with a guy who even Peyton Manning said, hey, this guy throws the ball a little bit different than everybody else. I think that is a game changer. And it's kind of time for LSU to kind of make that run. When you're spending that kind of money and you're recruiting that well, when you have that kind of talent on your team, you only get a 2, 3, 4 year window in the SEC to make it happen before they move on from your coach. So I think it's probably their year to figure something out. But I look at the interior, I look at the quarterback, and I look at the coach, and I think that those three areas of a team, everybody else will follow. Everybody else will get on board. There's so many receivers out there nowadays. You can go find you a good receiver. You can go find you a good back. But those big guys, the quarterback and the head coach, usually really determine your fate in the SEC.
CJ, and I agree wholeheartedly with you. You always hear people say, it's those guys up front, offensive, defensive linemen. You got to make sure you got some solid, really good players there. In saying all that, how much does the schedule factor into it? Because as I looked at all that as well, and I'm with you, particularly at the quarterback positions at LSU, Texas, some other places, but then I see how these schedules set up, and to me, there's some teams that I don't want to say have an easier path, but the schedule sets up pretty well for them.
That honestly, I think that plays a huge factor, and especially. Most SEC teams are playing the same guys, but it's the timing in which they do play them, whether it's earlier in the year or on the back end of the year, or if it's, if you're an Alabama, right, and you've got Georgia, then after Georgia, you've got Texas, like you've got, 4 or 5, we used to call it the gauntlet. If your gauntlet is out of control and a lot of those are away games, it makes it tougher for you to get to your goals, right? But if you've got it kind of spread out and a lot of your gauntlet is at home, you tend to believe those teams right there that kind of fit that mold are probably going to win a lot of games. But I do think that your schedule plays a role because people are going to get hurt, right? Or not necessarily injured, but hurt, right? And it's very rare that you have all of your guys consistently through a full season. And so sometimes if that gauntlet is too treacherous, for lack of better words, it's hard to continue to win games late in the season.
One other question I've got, again, from something you said earlier, I want to follow up on. You were talking about LSU's receivers. Every one of them seems like runs like a sub 4.4. It's kind of a two-part question. How legit are some of those 40-yard dash times that we're seeing? Oh, this guy runs a 4.31. It's I don't know about that. And number two, how important is speed anyway for a wide receiver? I can name guys who who were legendary in terms of their 40-yard dash time, but route running and catching a football in traffic, they had no shot. How legit are some of these 40 times we've seen in your experience, and how important is just pure speed for a receiver?
So in the SEC, you usually don't have to question it. Those guys really run that fast, and especially down there at LSU, they've got special players, they've got special strength staff, and also their receivers coach, who's also co-offensive coordinator, Cortez Hankton, was in Nashville with me. So, and he won a national championship at Georgia as a co-offensive coordinator as well. So everything coming out of LSU right now is legit. And we can also see that now in the NFL. Malik Neighbors, top 60 player in the NFL as a rookie. They had another receiver, I'm blanking on his name, but they're sending guys out every year from
Justin
the receiver.
Jefferson and
Jamar
Chase.
It's all legit. It's all legit coming out of LSU, and I do believe all those guys run under 4.4. But I will say this, yes, learning how to play football is more important than your speed. It helps to have speed, but I do think somebody like Cortez Hankton, who played in the NFL and is truly just a good teacher, a great teacher, teaching those guys how to run routes, the art of running routes. And we talked about this last year when we were talking about Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith up at Ohio State. It's like, and you guys asked me, okay, who do I think is better, right now in this moment? And I just said, hey, look, they're both explosive athletes. They're both very good at what they do, but Jeremiah's probably just a little bit more polished. And when I say polished, just the game of football and route running and all those kind of things, and separation, those kind of things. And it's not that Ryan can't get there or isn't there coming this year. I don't know that, but he's just a little bit more polished. And I think that if you add the athleticism to being polished as a receiver, understanding how to get open, understanding concepts and understanding coverage, all those things kind of lead to a very successful season. And that's what you saw to Malik Neighbors his last year, and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, all those guys. You can date it back to Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham. LSU's known for producing and developing excellent receivers, and I don't think that's going to stop this year.
Circling back to media days, the consensus, CJ, seems to be in my top four were Texas, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia. That's the top four in my mind right now. It's certainly subject to change before the start of the season. And then you got a group of 8. And then you got the last 4 of the 16 teams in the SEC. Of that group of 8, CJ, which I've got teams like Texas A&M, Auburn, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Florida, Ole Miss, whatever. To me, you can kind of mix and match those 8. I mean, I'm really not sure where I would stack those 8 up, because I think of that group, I mean, they're all going to be fighting it out to get, and some of them might get into the top 4, but I think that group of 8's really going to be fighting out for those 10-2, 9-3, 8-4 kind of records.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to be the most competitive. I think you're exactly right. And I think, earlier I barely mentioned it, but the Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina group is one that I will watch very closely this year. I think all 3 teams have an opportunity to be really good, and they could be a team that could stop one of those top 4 from being the top seed in the playoff. Ole Miss is coming back. They're always very competitive, always very talented, but I don't know if you all remember from the Georgia game last year, the quarterback that came in for Jackson Dart, he looked better than Jackson Dart. The way that he threw the ball, the baseball player down there at Ole Miss, he's coming back as a starter this year. And so getting a full season of him will be really exciting to see. Somebody with that kind of arm talent, with Lane Kiffin's creativity, I think it's something to watch out for. And then, DJ Lagway and Lenore Sellers, and these are really talented guys. And, who's to say these guys aren't more talented than Arch? We've
Yeah.
put Arch up there, but these guys are legit, and they've done it already, right? And
Yeah.
so, against good competition. So I like those three to kind of be at the top of your 8, but I would not be shocked if, Texas has to go on the road to play one of these teams and loses, truly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I'm
I'll
glad
say
you
this,
brought
though.
that up about Austin Simmons, the lefty quarterback for
Yeah.
Ole
That's
Miss,
right.
because not only that, and I've said before, I think he'll be a star in this league. The intangibles from this young man. I mean, he was at SEC media days, and he turned some heads just with his presence
Mhm.
and his poise and his intelligence. Which
Mhm.
also pays dividends when you're on the football field and those rush ends are crashing down around you too, CJ.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
And
there's, yeah. Mhm.
And I mentioned you talked about Arch Manning, and I thought he, presented himself,
Mhm.
fantastic at media days, confident, not cocky, generous, gracious, wanted to be there. But if they go to Columbus, Ohio and beat the Buckeyes, get ready because
Oh,
the
man.
Arch Mania will have begun.
Oh yes, it'll be as big as Tebow if they beat Ohio State. I tell you that it'll be pretty bad. And they've got a shot. They've got a good team. Arch is just playing this quarterback position. The really talented guys, they'll spot you several points, right? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you just find ways to protect the ball, I think there are more teams in the SEC that lose games than win games, right? Like they should be winning the game, but they've lost the game because of turnovers. And so I think that was Auburn's problem last year and a couple other teams. If you just hold on to the ball, you probably aren't in this, off-season drama that you're currently in, and guys aren't having to transfer in or transfer out.
Out of our entire show today, 2 hours worth of conversation here. If all you get out of today's show is CJ Duncan say teams lose games probably more than they win games, then it's a win for you today because that is absolute truth, John.
Yeah. You ain't kidding. That is fantastic. My last thing, CJ, and I've been on this soapbox. I'm tired of hearing it. I started off with it today. I don't want other people in other conferences whining and complaining about how many conference games the SEC plays, 8 or 9, so what? Look, the television networks want the SEC. That's who they want to broadcast because the games are so competitive and their ratings are so good. But let's talk about that group of 8 one more time. We know who we think the top 4 are, but that next 8, which makes 12, tell me a league out there that's got 12 teams that could make some noise. It isn't in the ACC. It's not in the Big 10. Certainly not the Big 12. I don't know what these people are talking about. I just don't get it.
Well, that's why they're trying to join all these other conferences to become the SEC. I think that in itself is proving our point. And that's why I say I don't know that any of the teams or coaches really paid any mind. You're having to join forces to try to become the SEC, and good luck with that. I mean, I think geographically we just automatically have an advantage. And then historically, I think kids are just attracted to what the SEC brings. And so I just don't see that happening where someone can have or another conference can have 12 teams, legitimate teams, in that group of 8 that you speak of. A lot of those teams will be a top 2 seed in those other conferences. I don't see a Michigan beating an Ole Miss or a Florida even this year. I think Florida's really going to turn the corner this year. And so you've got the Penn State and Ohio State, but who else, right? And Oregon will be fine, right? But Oregon, I think they're still licking their wounds from when they were out in Pasadena last year. So we'll see how it goes, but there's no better conference, and everybody else knows it. That's why they're always talking about us. But I'm sure you didn't hear any coaches from the SEC saying, "Man, I really got some issues with the Big Ten."
No, I didn't even know they were in existence. You kidding me? Never came up.
On that note, close out our visit every week with CJ Duncan. CJ, always a pleasure. Thanks so much. Look forward to next week.
Thank you guys for having me. It's good to be back.
Yeah, great to have you, my man. Awesome. With CJ Duncan. Great interview there, if we do say so ourselves. Why not? It was great. Always enjoy CJ, man. He calls it like he sees it.
Well,
I am, Barry. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of these people beating up on the SEC. It's total jealousy. They wish they were us. I get it. So what? Go live yourself and go get in the corner of your room and turn the lights out, because I'm tired of hearing it.
Here's the quote yesterday from ACC Media Days from Rhett Lashley, head coach at SMU, who used to be a coordinator in the SEC. He says, since 1964, 6 SEC teams have won a national championship. It's the same 6. He says that's top heavy to me. Big Ten Media Days are going on. Kirk Cignetti, the head coach at Indiana, who used to be an assistant coach in the SEC under Saban. You know, they're talking about, you know, the Indiana's non-conference schedule, or their whole schedule, which is pathetic. You know, they don't play any Power Fours if they can help it. Their non-conference schedule is FCS, lower level G4. And he says, well, he defends that by saying, look, we play a 9-game conference schedule. The SEC does not. Doesn't it feel like each one of the other Power 4 conferences spend about half their media days talking about the SEC?
Yes. And Barry, here's another thing that bugs me. And you know me. We've been together a long time. Why won't some of these media members at ACC and Big Ten Media Days go, whoa, time out, coach? Who else in the ACC's won a national title in the last 40 years besides Florida State, Miami, and Clemson? Why won't someone ask Rhett Lashley that? Or Kurt Cignetti about, coach, I mean, come on. I know high school teams that play a more difficult schedule than this, and I don't want to go back up to my old reliable of, well, we might get our credentials yanked, and I can't get my free meal or my free parking place. I mean, I think that's what these media members think. They're too scared to ask those questions.
They give out media credentials like water.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. Anyway, when we come back, another Phantom Daily Dog?
Yeah.
Also, Josh Harris, our Moneyline manager, still to come with Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. We better get to it. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 23 minutes past the hour here on this Wednesday. Want to let everybody know tomorrow we will be at the Montgomery Regional Airport, getting better the more you use it. Check it out at iflymgm.com for all of the great arrivals and departures and destinations, and you can book your ticket right there on Delta or American at flymgm.com. We'll be out there tomorrow to tell you more about that. Also, quickly on the River Region Straw chat line, Tobias coming in strong today.
Yeah,
John with the 4 + 8 = 12. You heard it here first.
Yep.
That's pretty good, John. Thank you.
That is good. Yeah. Tobias says Michigan and Ohio State won their most recent national titles in each of the last 2 years without playing a P4 non-conference game. The national media said nothing. That's the Big Ten. The Big Ten, most of the time, virtually all the time, they get their non-conference games out of the way in September.
Yep.
And then they go full 9-game, which is what they're talking about. That's what Kirk Cignetti is saying. That's what everybody else is saying, is that, well, the Big Ten, they've got to play 9 conference games. The SEC gets by, they get it easy, only having to play 8. Yeah, but I do agree with this from John. Yeah, Michigan's a great program. Ohio State's a great program. Penn State. So are Texas, Georgia, Alabama, all that. But it's the depth of the conference.
It is the depth.
You go Texas, for instance. Texas has a tough schedule just simply because of their conference schedule.
Yeah.
They're not having to play Rutgers. They're not having to play a bad Nebraska. All that kind of stuff.
Barry, this just kind of hit me though here, Barry. Listen, this is kind of interesting.
Okay.
The SEC really cannot trip over their own 2 feet because in the first 3 weeks of the football season, the SEC, there will be an SEC team playing a Big Ten team. Texas plays Ohio State, Michigan plays Oklahoma, Alabama plays Wisconsin. They better win all 3 of those, at least 2 of the 3, because if they get swept somehow or go 1-2 against those teams, you're going to hear the Big Ten say, "Oh, we're better. We beat those big boys of the SEC in the 2 of the first 3 weeks. We won 2 of the 3, or all 3." And I hadn't really thought about that till just looking at this schedule. I don't know if there's any other SEC Big Ten matchups. I don't believe there are throughout the remainder of the year. Don't need to be losing those.
I know a lot of you guys. I know how you think. I'm going to be working on Saturday, August the 30th. I'll have a game to do.
Yep.
But I know a lot of you guys. Check this. This is your Saturday. Take it from me. Go ahead and order your Dreamland wings. Go ahead and get your Bud Light taken care of. 11 a.m. Saturday, August 30th, Texas at Ohio State on Fox.
Yeah.
That's at 11 in the morning. 2:30, right after that, other game's over with, Alabama, Florida State, ABC. All right, that gets over with. 6:30, LSU, Clemson, ABC.
Yeah.
6:30, huge game. After that, after that, you can make a case for UCLA and Utah.
I'll be checking it out. You kidding me? The Utes?
That's 4 strong.
So, Barry, how about this?
Back.
Bama and LSU don't need to be losing to the ACC in week 1.
No.
So, a little pressure on those 2 programs, both on the road. Yeah. LSU at Clemson, Bama at Florida State. You lose those 2, the ACC will be crowing all year. Okay. And there again, with that Big Ten matchup, got to get the better of the Big Ten in the first 3 weeks as well, or there could be some backlash on that. Okay, Bear, I know you've heard the saying, Mama said there'd be days like this.
I think that was the Shirelles.
I think there was the Shirelles. And that's one of those, well, it was actually one of those nights in the desert last night. I needed Tobias to kind of help me out with this last night, but he can only do so much as the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the Houston Astros last night. I'm not even going to look at the box score, Barry, because when you're the team that you picked catching 110, they were plus 110 last night, only scores 1 run, I don't need to look at the box score. Not a good night.
No.
Houston 3, Arizona 1.
Yeah. The difficulty is that both teams had 10 hits.
Yeah, they did.
I kept trying to tell John, Framber Valdez, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
They
Well,
had their chances, in other words.
You know what those 10 hits got me, Barry?
The big
L.
Shape of an L on his forehead.
Yeah,
okay.
big L. So
that does happen. And point to me, that was the Shirelles, by the way. Mama said there'd be days like this.
Mama said there'd be days like this.
For the Phantom, we can go $10-3 on him. His future's so bright, you got to wear shades.
That's exactly right.
Today is another day.
It is another day.
Another one of the Phantom's daily dogs.
Well, Barry, it is Wednesdays.
For Josh Harris in the green room, he's checking his coat pockets for a pencil so he can write this down. Here we go.
He's going to write this one down. Barry, it must be a getaway day today. A lot of early games in Major League Baseball. First game is 11:05 this morning. We're not going there.
There are 5 games before lunchtime or at lunchtime today. It's awesome.
That's right.
Okay.
A lot of great baseball early. Even the Braves are playing early today.
Yeah, 11:15 against the San Francisco Giants. Maybe the Braves can score a run.
Well, Barry, we are actually going with a game before midday, before 12 noon. There are 4 games that start before noon today. We're going with a game that starts at 11:10 today. 11:10. You can get into this game for as low as $13. That's what it says.
Must be Miami.
Well, believe it or not, Barry, the Braves game, you can get in as low as $8.
What?
Yeah. They are actually, let me look at this.
They call this the Longshore Special, a ticket for $8.
They are 2 games before 12 noon. They're 4 games before 12 noon today. 2 of them have ticket price lower than the game in Miami this morning.
Yep. One of them is the San Diego Padres against the Miami Marlins.
That's it.
11:15. 2 top-line pitchers.
Let's hear about him.
Cease. He may have won the American League Cy Young Award one year. He's one of the top pitchers in the American League. He came over to the National League with the Padres, and he is 3-9. But he's got some serious. He struck out 139 guys. Former National League Cy Young Award winner Sandy Alcantara is going for the Marlins, and he is 4-9. So 3-9 versus 4-9, but those pitchers have had some success in their careers.
You're exactly right. And Barry, I'm catching 125 Marlins plus $1.25 at home in front of about, I don't know, 2,000 people maybe. But hey,
$13 a piece. Do the math.
Maybe some side action of the 4 games before lunch, which has the least amount of attendance.
I don't know. And he's talking about side action. I don't think you're going to see any CEOs up there.
No, that Coldplay's playing in Nashville.
Coldplay concert.
Yeah, they're playing Nashville this weekend, I believe, or maybe it's I don't know, tonight or tomorrow. Anyway, just for the record,
if he got his tickets yet.
Just for the record, Barry, the Marlins tickets are $13. The Nationals tickets are $9. The Braves tickets are $8, and the high water mark before lunch, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosting the Detroit Tigers, $24 for a ticket. There you have it. We got the Marlins plus 125. Early start, 11:10 this morning against the San Diego Padres. There you have it.
Daily Dog from the Phantom. Well, we had earlier last hour our fraternity consultant, Alabama Fraternity Consulting CEO Kyle Hall, tell us, the pitfalls of pledging a fraternity. When we come back, somebody who's done some pro bono work.
Yeah, I think so.
In Greek life consulting will join us. Our Moneyline manager, Josh Harris, will be a part of it when we come back. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
All right, Barry, it is about 25 minutes to the top of the hour. When we went to the break, I looked in the green room. Josh Harris was just laughing uncontrollably when you were talking about Kyle Hall, our fraternity consultant, who was on in hour one.
Our Moneyline manager, Josh Harris, joins the show today. Josh, how we doing, man?
Doing good. I just getting it back together. That guy, I got to go back and watch that.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most entertaining people I've ever seen on Instagram or whatever social media.
Yeah, we were wondering about that because, I mean, here's a 60-year-old guy, and he has got a flourishing business in fraternity consulting. And I had somebody tell me, you know, great guy, wonderful guy, salt of the earth. You got to see his Instagram because it's freaking hilarious. So I got to check that out, John.
I got to meet him in person and I got some questions and comments, and I'm jealous. He's like he'll be the next Roll Tide Willie.
Well, what happens is that, you know, John asked him, you know, because he works with several different universities in their Greek system, you know, what are the best fraternities at Alabama? And he says, I'll tell you, the best fraternities are the fraternities that best fit your needs. And I'm thinking we got to get Josh Harris on here because Josh will say, no, man, they suck. Those guys over there, forget them, you know. I mean,
no, he's right. That's a good answer. Hey, good for Kyle, because that's the answer. Find your friends, go hang out with them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, those SAE boys are pretty daggum sharp.
Yeah.
You know, you have the alpha betas and you know, Stan Gable's wearing the sweater or with the sleeves over his neck, and he's got Betty over there in the pie selling contest, and on the other side you got the Tri-Lambs with Booger and Lamar and those guys and everything. You can tell.
I tell you what, I see Kyle on Instagram. He's got some dance moves, man.
Oh,
it's,
you ain't
kidding. That I did.
Yeah,
see that.
Good Lord.
You know, Josh, I've got an SA myself here in the house, and I have to reel him in a little bit. You know, he gets a little high on the hog, a little cocky from time to time. I gotta reel him down and kind of not put him down a notch or two, but all in all, pretty good group of guys up there.
Well, that's what happens when that's what pledgeship's for. And then when they start taking that away, you just walk in and you walk through pledgeship. They don't do that anymore. Now it's up to dad to whip them down a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what pledgeship was for.
Yeah. Here's a question. Here's maybe a proposal, although it's unofficial right now because it's a long time. Thought about this last week when John and Gurn Jr. and I were slugging it out with over 1,000 other accredited media members at SEC Media Days up at the College Football Hall of Fame. If we brought you next year and, you know, we had the interview rooms and, you know, the coaches up there in the print media, are there any questions that you feel are being underserved by the attendant media that you would probably think to ask? I mean, any sort of contribution you can make to elevate the tone of SEC Media Days?
I feel like they ask all the questions that people want to hear from a sports side. I want to know what they're spending their money on. what are you doing with all this money you have coming in, right? You're an 18-year-old kid. I don't know if that's for media days. That'd be an interesting thing to know. Like, what is everybody doing?
Yeah.
How is all this money that we're giving out being controlled to 18 to 22-year-olds? I'm just super intrigued in NIL. That's all I want. I mean, that's like, and just the landscape of the game, how coaching has changed, how recruiting has changed. If you can even still get, like, from a coach's standpoint or a player standpoint, if you were if you're a senior, I don't even know if they would have had NIL. Would they have had NIL money for you? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So, like, what has changed since you started when players are now getting paid a lot more than they used to, right? And what have you seen the landscape of the game change with? Like, that's in the off season. That's what intrigues me. Like, the recruiting and player development. We'll see how all that plays out in the season. I want to know in the off season, like, what are these guys working as hard? I saw a really funny clip from Derrick Henry the other day talking about Saban, about how he hated celebrations. And Derrick Henry would say, y'all go in the end zone, and Saban would say, y'all be praying in the end zone. And then I see you at 2 a.m. smoking Black and Milds on the strip, like, quit doing all that stuff. And so I'm just like, is that going on more and more because they're getting paid and you have less control over the guys? Like, what's going on?
They're making more money than some of their assistant coaches are making. They're thinking, you're telling me what to do? I mean, come on. I'm with you, Josh. I get that. I will say this. I think some of the money they're making in NIL, they're going to some really nice men's stores, because some of these outfits these guys showed up in, wow. I mean, some high dollar threads, to say the least. But yeah, how do you separate the money and the work ethic and the team concept and going out there and doing stuff when people aren't looking to make you and your team better? Yeah, I'm worried about that. I'm a little concerned that, did they get fat and happy and just say, okay, I've done what I really wanted to do, and that's make money.
And you got guys, I was going down a rabbit hole with Derrick Henry, just listening to a bunch of interviews, and they were saying when he came to Alabama, they pitch him the ball and he didn't know what hole to hit. He didn't know what an audible was.
Saban was talking about pass protection. He kept missing pass pro, and he said, they just handed it to me.
I don't, right. So do you have guys that come in like Derrick Henry that they're just like, listen, I'm paid, I'm doing well. Like, do you have more of that where they're like, listen, coach, I don't know, what I'm doing. I'm just here to run the ball, right? Like, I don't want to get, I'm not here to get better. And now they're not going to say that, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I do feel like DeBoer, you see all these people getting in trouble in the offseason. And even when Saban was there, we saw a lot of people in the offseason getting in trouble. For whatever reason, DeBoer seems to have the team in pretty good shape. You don't hear a lot of off-field crap going on in Tuscaloosa right now, which is, I'm overly confident about the season. And I'd say I'm usually cocky about Alabama football. I was explaining this to someone else recently, is I'm usually cocky. And that's when I get really scared. Like, how would we ever lose? We're the Tide. Like, but now I feel confident, right? We're putting in the work. We're doing what we need to do. We're not out there running our yap or anything. The media's kind of saying we're not going to be that good as DeBoer on the hot seat, blah, blah, blah.
I wonder, though, John, and I'm with you. I think if you're an Alabama fan, you got to be pleased with not hearing anything in the offseason. But, I hate to say this, I just feel like it's coming. I feel like something's coming. It's been too good for too long. Somebody's going to stray and get in trouble. I just think, with 100 players, something's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong, but I got to think something's coming.
Well, it's like when everything in your life's going good, you're like, well, what's happened? What's am I about to get hit by a bus? Because it's not usually this good.
No,
on the flip side, the mindset is like for Auburn fan, man, it's about time for something good to happen, to us. Do you have any sense, especially after media days with Keldrick Falk and Connor Lew and Jackson Arnold, and especially Hugh Freeze, was there anything said, done, represented from the Auburn camp in Atlanta where you said, all right, okay, I kind of get it. Auburn may do something finally.
I think the bigger thing is it's just time. It's Auburn doesn't stay, not necessarily anything I heard or what was said. It's just that same feeling you've got. It's like, all right, they're Auburn. as much as I want to dog on them or, say they're little brother and they're the worst and blah, 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 like they're still a pretty daggum good team, have a great history of being good at football. And this is they got, there's nowhere to go but up. And I see it, hopefully, I do want them to be solid again. It's kind of getting and I hate when I talk to my Auburn fans and their friends and they're like, we stink. I'm like, come on. Like, at least talk a little crap, right? At least be that. That's what the fun of the rivalry is.
Well, see,
right?
and this is what I wanted to follow up with you along about that, because John will say this, and you're talking about Alabama and saying, I was kind of wondering about them, but they're doing the right things now. They're putting in the work and everything. Auburn's getting better. Isn't it better? Isn't the rivalry better like this? Because John always says that it is, where Alabama fans are not just sitting back, arms folded, prepared for another enjoyable, diverting afternoon of joyless murder ball and trying to figure out how many touchdowns they're going to win by. And meanwhile, Auburn's pretty good, and you're starting to hear some. Isn't it better that way?
Yes. I mean, as much as I want to just go out and run through everybody, and I'll take that over anything. A close second is watching football again instead of murder ball, right? Yeah. I love that murder ball, but it's like, for example, I'm going to a wedding in October, and the cardinal sin of having a wedding in October, right? These clowns, Tucker Harris, Haley Rosetta. Come on. No, I'm just kidding.
Come on, people.
But they're having, listen, these are Tide fans though, so they know what they're doing. They're having their wedding on a Friday at the beach.
Boom.
Listen, these are Tide folks. They're having their wedding on a Friday, and then Saturday, there's nothing but a giant watch party for the game at the beach. Like, now that, my friends, is a wedding. Like, that is how you do it. Anybody will. It's an excuse to take off on Friday to go down to a wedding early. Shoot, even take down on Thursday.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'd rather watch the game with all my buddies at the beach, honestly, than probably go to a game right now. I mean, but it's the South Carolina game. So years ago, you'd be like, well, we're just going to kill them. Why do we even need to watch the game? We'll see what happens. Like, this is going to be fun. We're pumped. It could be a close game. Let's hope they win. But it is every game now. It's like basketball, right? We could be a close game. Right, especially with the NIL and the way that teams are more equal now, it is way more exciting. I think it's been great
and we've said it for years, Josh. In our business, when both Auburn and Alabama are good, it's good for us. If one team's up and the other team's down, it's just not the same. When they're both going at it and both their fan bases are going at it, that's beautiful. I love that.
It's like basketball season. Like now in basketball, like it is just tooth and nail who's better. People going at each other's throat. When I go into my morning meeting and I see old Sam Adams, when I start talking football, he's just like, ah. When I start talking basketball, he's like, remember when we won the championship 3 years ago against Virginia? I'm like, y'all didn't beat Virginia. He still claims a national championship from that year.
Love it. Oh, I could
just see Josh at SEC Media Days for the follow-ups, especially like what he's talking about, the subjects he's interested in, asking the guy, well, I'm not going to name any names, Mississippi State offensive lineman, hey, man, how much did you get in NIL? And the follow-up, Josh would say, really? You?
How much of that you spend at Subway?
Hey, you know what? I think we might need you to join us at Media Days next summer, Josh.
There we go.
Yeah, that would be great.
Have your people get with our people.
I heard you were talking about the Marlins game, and I got a friend down here in Miami. I'm here for a conference. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and I thought he was being super nice, inviting me to the Marlins game, but now I know that tickets are $8. I don't feel like he was going out of his way too much.
Yeah, that's like, hey, I'm going to take you to Denny's for a Grand Slam breakfast. It's about the same.
Now you got
the same outlay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd rather go to Denny's.
Highly entertaining. We appreciate the time very much. Stay safe down there in South Florida.
See y'all.
All right,
Take
buddy.
care.
Safe travels. Great stuff. Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician, joining us here today. Barry, I know that we've got something else coming up. That's Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. We need to get to that today as well. We've been busy here on Longshore and McKnight for a Wednesday.
One quick thing here, quick judgment on this, John. You
Yeah.
ready?
Yep.
My buddy William Black says, I will say this, having participated, but the scene from Animal House, different movie than Revenge of the Nerds, but the scene from Animal House when they are showing the rushy picks and deciding who to extend a bid to is spot on. That was the one where they projected it onto the big screen.
Correct.
And all of a sudden they showed the picture of Flounder and
popcorn, beer cans. That's when you heard the guy in the back go, we need the dues. So I'll give you here.
It's true. This guy's a real zero.
Real zero. So a quick story, I promise, quick story. I had something similar like that happen. I was a rush chairman for my fraternity, and we're down there in the basement going over some pledges or potential pledges, potential candidates, and my spill was basically the same for every one of them. Great guy, loves to party, face man, got a real cute girlfriend. I mean, that was kind of my spill in describing these guys when we were going to pass the box on them. Well, one time I'd gone through about, 7 or 8, 9 of these guys, and some nerd knocker in the back raises his hand and goes, hey, man, what about one of these guys' GPAs? I mean, same thing. Boo! People throwing stuff, going, GPAs? What are you talking about?
Again, that's like the scene from The Blimp whenever the guy, in the Bond movie where he slides him. We got to take a break. We may not get to everything on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. We've been guest heavy. We're going to get to a lot. Coming up, Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News presented by Bud Light.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. They're licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Hey, we're back at it. 8 minutes to go. The Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel I see is in the box, warming up. There it is. Let's don't waste any time. Let's spin that bad boy right now and see what comes up. We do not know these topics, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
we're seeing them for the first time like you are.
Top of our heads. Stealing coaches.
Stealing coaches.
All right. Oh, yeah. We talked about this a little bit during yesterday's show with Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com. Stealing a coach? Arkansas's Joe Vaughn Hubbard will be Auburn's new assistant general manager. He was director of football personnel at Arkansas. He'll be the number 2 guy behind the other guy who, Will Redmond. Will Redmond is a star in the industry. And now Joe Vaughn Hubbard is going to be with stealing a coach. I mean, was it cloak and dagger, middle of the night, getting a burlap sack and throwing it over his head and throwing him in the back of the car?
They didn't fly a Learjet up to Sellers, Indiana at the middle of the night, did they?
Stealing is probably a little harsh on that. Yep. So there's one.
That's a good one.
That should be a good one. Yep. All brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casinos, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama. Let's load up another one. Here we go.
Yep. Spin away. Where it lands, nobody knows, but Victoryland, you can be a winner too. She did it.
Is this Britney Spears?
Could be. You never know.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Venus Williams, 45. We mentioned her the other day on the Gordon Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. She has a comeback. She hadn't played tennis in forever. How would you feel if you were Peyton Stearns right now? It's the DC Open. Peyton Stearns, I mean, Venus was 22 when Peyton Stearns was born. You're losing to you're a professional women's tennis player, and you lose to a 45-year-old woman?
Not good.
If I'm Peyton Stearns, I mean, I'm turning an ankle beforehand because, John, you can't win.
No.
If you win that match, you're like, well, yeah, of course she won. She beat a 45-year-old woman. But if you, that's like getting into a fight with an old guy.
You know, Barry,
you can't win the fight because even if you beat him, oh, you beat up this old geezer.
That's right.
But if you lose that fight, you're like, oh, dude, that old man just whipped your behind.
So what was it, 40 years ago, 50 years ago? I'm trying to think when Al Chervik made the classic line, ding, boom. Oh, my arm.
Yeah. 45 years ago, 1980.
So you got to come up with a way to, I don't think I can play today.
I don't care if Judge Smale says, what has that buffoon done now? It don't matter. As long as you're, as long as
I know it's hard to get a ball to ricochet off the ball washer and hit you in the elbow.
Mm-hmm. But you got to do something. I mean, you got to trip over a baseline or, slip or something like that. Because I mean, losing in straight sets to a 45-year-old woman, Peyton Stearns ain't nowhere but for your career to go, but up, because that is bedrock right there.
Yeah,
anyway.
That is. You're right. Okay, 3 more to go. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. 3 colors left. Which one will it land on?
Starting repairs. I think I know what this one is. I hope it is. Yeah, Tropicana Field.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
This is throwing bad money after good. The Rays are playing at Steinbrenner Field, which is the Yankee spring training facility. They are working on Tropicana Field. Unfortunately, what they don't say is with the workmen and with the structural engineers and with all the hard hats, there are more people inside Tropicana Field right there in that picture than there usually are for a Tampa Bay Rays game.
Man,
why are they fixing it?
I don't know.
Just tear it down. What do you got? Motocross coming up? I mean,
WWE.
You got the Journey Victory Band coming in and playing.
They wouldn't play there
because the Rays ain't coming back to Tropicana Field.
It's not a good look.
Yeah,
it's not a good look.
Geez, okay.
All right, 2 more to go.
Let's see if it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm with you. They got to do something new.
3 minutes to get to. We're good.
We're in. Here we go. No doubt. Yeah, blue and green. There we go.
Yeah,
and it's going to land on green, which is
Kawa. Tayden Kawa is a 4-star quarterback. Committed to Alabama. He's from Hawaii. Has there been any good Hawaiian quarterbacks at Alabama?
Is he a 4-star yesterday? Yesterday I saw he was a 3-star. Has he already gotten the Bama bump?
This is gross. This is just gross. This is that guy at the Golden Corral buffet, and you're watching him. He goes about 4 bills, and he's going up again. Bama fan, haven't you had enough? I mean, is that enough? I mean, you're going back for another slice of that roast beef from Golden Corral?
Man.
Another high school quarterback, 4-star.
From the island. I don't know what island he's from.
Kawa. He's from Molokai, which is, I don't think it's the same high school as like Timmy Chang and Mariota and Tua, but it might be. Who knows? I don't know. But
going across,
he's playing high school football in Utah, but he's from Hawaii. This is an embarrassment. Is this even news? Alabama gets commitment from 4-star. If I'm on 3, or if I'm Tighter Insider, I'm Rodney, or I'm just keeping this one headline and just cutting and pasting it over and over again. Thailand's 4-star commitment.
Yeah,
just
I'm going
to even write it.
I'm going to ask Rodney about him tomorrow, see what he knows about him. Okay, he'll be on
more.
Yeah, tomorrow, Rodney Orr, presented by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. All right, 1 more to go. Got to spin it to make it official. It's the blue panel.
Yeah,
and it's,
this is time always wins.
Yeah, it
you
does.
can't beat time. The fabled Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, LSU star, 33 years old, 12 years in the NFL, and he's done.
Here's my deal, Barry. Why
Done everything you can. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. He's won a lot of games.
Why do NFL players retire now? Well, why not retire after the season's over? Is there something in the contract you hang around to get more money and then you retire?
My theory on that, and that's a legit question. My theory on that is, all right, 33, 12 years in the NFL. Remember, he had a certain zest of living early in his team. He got kicked off of LSU in 2012 because of continually failing drug tests for marijuana, which they used to have back then.
Yep.
So he's had a certain zest for living, but he drags his tired behind out there to camp. You know, they've just begun, preseason camp in the NFL. Just begun, like this week.
Yeah.
And he's out there and man, I can't do it. It's hot. Maybe his coach says, hey, Badger, I think that this is probably where you need to start thinking about doing something else. He was with the Saints for the last 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I remember him being
and
with
believe
New
me,
Orleans.
if he can't make the Saints,
whoa. Wow.
it may be time, John.
He's no Roman Harper, I'll tell you that.
The clock has just buzzed.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And speaking of the clock buzzing, it's getting close to buzzing for us as well. Hey, remind everybody, check us out tonight on CBS 8 and ABC 32. Lindsey Bonner and myself will be recapping media days and looking ahead to preseason practices coming up. So you can check that out at 6 and 10 tonight. Yep. CBS and ABC 32. Tomorrow, Barry, we're at the Montgomery Regional Airport, getting better the more you use it. Looking forward to being out there with our friends at MGM. And, of course, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, will join us, as well as Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover.
Plenty to ask from them. Great stuff today. Many thanks to Kyle Hall, fraternity consultant.
Yeah.
CJ Duncan, Josh Harris joining us as well. Gern Jr., our producer. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.